So welcome to my kitchen. This is Cooking Today. Hi, welcome to Cooking Today. Glad you're here. We love fall. I know I've been saying that now for a couple of weeks, but I sure love it. And I'll tell you, this is such a good recipe. It is, you know, there are some recipes that are kind of like iconic-y fall, like soups and heavy things. We're actually going to deviate from that a little bit today and cook something really nice and light, but still very comforting and so rich and good. I'm making this wonderful chicken piccata with this Parmesan risotto. It is so creamy and rich, and the, chicken piccata is tangy and zingy and citrusy with lemon and capers. It's so good. It feels kind of fancy. You know, we do a lot of kind of hearty family food around here, don't we? That's kind of my mode of operation. But this is a little bit fancy, but we're going to do a couple of really great shortcuts so a regular old home cook can make this. The flavor is fabulous. Sam, you know, my fun, burly husband, he doesn't love it. He doesn't like lemon in something savory. He likes, you know, lemon if it's in something sweet. But I'll tell you, my daughter Grace and I, we could eat this every day. As a matter of fact, I made it for her just the other day. She was here and she ate it and she said, I could literally eat this every day of my life. So if that's not an endorsement, I don't know what is. Every day of your life, right? So let me tell you, what we're going to start is the risotto. There is a classic way to make risotto that requires stirring and stirring and stirring and stirring and stirring. But I don't always have the time to be that hands-on, and I'm making this with this chicken piccata that does require a little bit of hands-on time. And so what I wanted to do was a slow version of risotto that is Ina Garten's recipe. It is in the oven. It is so easy. It's my favorite thing about her is she's so simple. If you've never cooked with anything from Ina Garten, you really need to look her up. She's great, and it's just she does great methods. So what I'm going to do first is I have 5 cups of chicken stock that I'm going to warm on the stove. And I'll tell you why in just a minute while we're warming it. And you know it's going to heat quicker if you'll put the lid on it. So I have 5 cups. Then what we want to do is I'm only going to cut about a half of an onion on this. We'll set this guy aside. And I just have a little yellow onion that we're going to do a pretty good little chop on. And then we're going to saute it. Now, what's important about risotto is that you get the right kind of rice. And the right kind of rice for risotto is arborio. It's a real specific kind, and it almost always comes packed in this tight little brick like this. And so you want to be sure to get the right kind of rice. It all has to do with starch and grain and all of that. And so this is the one, it's going to be creamy. Creamy, creamy. It's not going to be sticky, and it's not going to be, there's like the grains that, you know, when you do another kind of rice, they're just kind of nice and fluffy and all the little pieces separate. That is not this kind of rice. It's going to get really good and creamy, and that is what we want on this risotto, on all risotto. So that's very important. It is boxed most often. And it is it's always with your regular rice if you've never bought it. It's just with your regular rice. You're just going to have to look for it. And there are several different kinds of, brands and all of that. But to get it going, this is what you do. I have my big Dutch oven, and I have my big boy. I have my 5.5 quart Dutch oven. You need a pot that is heavy, that is oven safe, and that has a really good, heavy, tight-fitting lid. Because what we're going to do is saute our rice with a little bit of onion and butter, and then add our chicken stock, and then lid it, and add our rice and lid it. And then it's just gonna bake nice and low and slow for about 45 minutes, hands off, rather than standing over the stove and watching this rice and watching this rice and watching this rice, and then stirring. I mean, you have to stir probably for 8 minutes, 10 minutes or so. And I don't love all that. I like to do it a little bit easier and get the same result. And so this is how we're gonna do it. So you need the good equipment, and that's gonna be this Dutch oven. And so all I've got going is a couple of tablespoons of butter and our half of our onion that we cut down real nice and small. And then we're gonna stick that in the Dutch oven. And then we just wanna let this saute for just a few minutes. We don't want caramelization. We really just want them to get kind of tender, and then we're gonna stir in our rice. And we'll do that in just a few minutes. Make sure that our chicken stock gets nice and warm. When we come back, I'll show you how we put it all together and stick it in the oven. It's so easy and good. This is Cooking Today.
Cooking Today, sponsored by West Rock Coffee Company.
Hi, welcome back to Cooking Today. We're making this wonderful lemony, zingy, tangy chicken piccata with this creamy Parmesan risotto. It's so good. Our risotto is easy. It's a baked version that just makes it very hands-off till the very, very end for just a minute or so. And so what I have is a sauteed onion with a little bit of butter, and I have about 1.5 cups of arborio rice. That's the most important thing about making risotto, is that you have the right rice. That's kind of hard to say. Are y'all all trying to do it at home? When I always hear people on TV say, oh, that's hard to say, then I find myself saying it out loud at my house. It's hard to find the right rice. Okay, arborio. So I have that going in my Dutch oven. I have my oven set to 350, and I have my chicken stock going. So all I want to do is give this rice a little stir for just a few minutes or so with the onion and with the butter. We just want to kind of start the cooking process. It just starts to get a little tender, really good. There's no liquid really even in the pan. We're just kind of getting a little stir on it, some warmth. Then we're going to put our chicken stock on. And we've got this going. So really I'm just stirring it for, I don't know, about a minute or so. Then I'm gonna get my mitts, because I bet my chicken stock is hot. I've got my 5 cups of chicken stock on the stove. It's nice and warm. The reason that we want it warm is because we don't want to work really hard to saute our rice and our onions and get it nice and warm and start that slow cooking process and then shock it with cold stock. Does that make sense? We want it to be nice and warm so that we're just kind of incorporating it and we're not losing any of the heat that we worked for. Okay, so here's my chicken stock. Yep, it's simmering away. And what we want to do, I'm going to eyeball this. You want to pour in only about 4 cups of this and reserve a cup of it on the stove, simmering nice and low, for at the very end when we're going to put it in after this cooks in the oven. So here we go. We're pouring in about 4 cups. And I have these wonderful Le Creuset pans that actually have measurements on the inside. They're marked, like engraved. Isn't that so nice? So I can actually look inside my pan and tell that I have a cup left. I know, isn't that dreamy? That's why it's worth a little bit of an investment in good pans. It sure takes the headache out. Okie doke, I'm going to put my lid back on my leftover 1 cup and leave that parked out just right there on low. And then I've got my risotto going, my rice going. And are you ready for this? Wasn't that easy so far? We stirred and then dumped a little bit. We're gonna lid it and put the whole entire thing in the oven. Easy as that at 350, okay? Here we go. Oh, you know what? I've got another one in there. Let me get my mitts and we're gonna scoot the other one over. It takes 45 minutes for the risotto to cook. And so y'all didn't want to stick around here all afternoon. I thought I'd go ahead and put another one in, and we're going to work on that one later. But I'm going to scoot it, and we're going to put our other one in. There we go. Okay. So 45 minutes on that, and then we're just going to stir in the goodness at the very end. Now let's start moving on to our chicken, okay? I've got 2 chicken breasts right here, and we're going to actually cut those in half in just a minute. Actually, let's just do it right now. I'm going to pat them off. I've gone ahead and rinsed them, and I'm going to give them a little pat because we want them to be nice and dry from just the liquid that, you know, its own juices and from the water that I, you know, rinsed them with. These are so nice because they're thin. We're basically going to make a little cutlet, which is lovely. Instead of having a big, big chicken breast, you know how sometimes chicken is just kind of fat on one end and thin on the other? And we really want to have a nice, thin cutlet, especially when we're going to put these in a skillet. They're delicious. So similar to the way that we did chicken parm, this particular method of cooking a little chicken cutlet is something that you really, I would just encourage you to learn how to do because it is so quick and it's so easy, takes very little skill, and you can do it with just about anything. You can put it on a salad, and you can put it on a sandwich, and you can serve it with pasta or rice or just about anything. So I'm just going to cut off the big pieces, and then I'm going to take my sharp knife, and then I'm just going to gently go right through the middle and cut these in half. Nice and thin. I'm going to do it to both of them. Look, isn't that nice? So instead of having one giant one, you have 2 thinner ones, which is just so much better. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this one in half. And when we come back, we're going to work on our little dredge and our coating, and then just skillet these real quick and then stir our risotto. I mean, it's just so easy. You're going to love this. This is Cooking Today.
Iced tea, sponsored by Lipton.
What I love most about the farmers market is the music, the art, the food, the people themselves. That's local, that's Fayetteville.
Local means homegrown.
My kids can run around, they can choose what she wants to get and eat.
I like growing and selling directly to the public.
And the market is kind of what community ought to be.
Visit us Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday on the square.
The Fayetteville Farmers Market.
100% local.
And loved.
Hi, welcome back to Cooking Today. Glad you're here. We're making chicken piccata, which is so lemony and tangy and delicious, and an easy hands-off Parmesan risotto. So we've got this wonderful tangy sauce on this chicken that we're gonna ladle over like creamy risotto, and it's just so many good flavors. It's rich and it's so pretty. This is a great dinner party meal or girly meal. And I bet you're gonna have some husbands that love this one too. So there's gonna be some fellas that like this one. It's good, especially because of this chicken. So what I've got is I did my 2 chicken breasts and I halved them so that they were nice and thin. And now all we're gonna do is dredge them, where I just did a little bit of egg and water. And then I have a little mixture of breadcrumbs that are panko, some crushed croutons. I love to use seasoned croutons that I just put in like a zip top bag and just pound them out because there's so much flavor in them. And then I added a little bit of garlic and onion and salt and thyme. You can get the full recipe on our website for this little crumb. And then I have a nonstick skillet preheating over the stove on about medium or so. And I'm gonna go ahead and give that a good swirl of olive oil and let that get nice and warm. And then we are gonna put these chicken cutlets in and let them get nice and crisp. So I've done my 4 cutlets. They smell good. They smell so, so good. And then I have my clean rimmed sheet waiting so that when I get done doing these cutlets, I can put them on this baking sheet and let them camp out for just a few minutes while we make our sauce. And the sauce is delicious, y'all. It's tangy, and I love any kind of tangy savory. It's one of my favorite little combos. Okay, so I've got my preheated skillet, and I'm just going to lay those chicken pieces right down and in. And for the sake of time, let's just do these two. Oh my goodness. It smells so good already, y'all, like already. And these are only gonna cook for probably maybe 2 minutes on each side, not terribly long. And then what we can do is put them on our rimmed baking sheet and set them in our oven just to kind of finish off for just a few minutes to get them nice and cooked all the way through. And they just get really good and tender. So let me clean our crumbs off while we wait. Oh, listen to that. Doesn't that sound good? Oh my word, aren't they pretty? Okay, I'm letting those crisp a little bit. And so while those are working, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you about our yummy, like lemony piccata sauce that's gonna go on these. And what it is 2 lemons that I've already squeezed. And I like a really juicy lemon, and I like this especially lemony. So, if you have some stingy lemons that you can't get a good squeeze out of, then, do 3 if you would rather. But, that's this whole flavor. It's delicious. And then I also have some chicken stock waiting. I'm going to flip these. I can tell that they're getting, brown and beautiful. Isn't this so simple, y'all? And the smells in here and the flavors are amazing. Okay, I'm gonna let those finish off on that side for just a minute. Now, I've got my garlic, and then I have my lemon juice, and I have my chicken stock, and I have capers. And that's the other little kind of briny, tart tang that goes in chicken piccata. I wish you could smell it in here. Oh my stars, so good. So all we're gonna do, this is so easy. We've got our sheet pan and our chicken that's coming off in any second. I have all of my sauce ingredients just kind of waiting on the side. My stock, my lemon juice, my capers, and my garlic. And so as soon as this chicken comes out, we're just gonna pour our sauce in and let it do a nice little simmer, and then put our chicken in the oven for just a minute or so that it just kind of gets nice and warm and cooked all the way through. Oh, that's so pretty. Oh yes, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And then because my oven is on 350, we're just gonna go ahead and stick these in and let them finish off for just a minute or so, just kind of while we're wrapping things up. All I'm gonna do next is dump in my stock. Look at this. And I even like it with the bits. Dump in my stock. Dump in my lemon juice. Let my garlic just simmer for just a few minutes. It's got a really fun little bite. And dump in my capers. I can't wait for you to see this all come together at the end. Come back. This is Cooking Today.
Candy, sponsored by Mars.
Hi, welcome back to Cooking Today. It's all done and it smells fantastic in here. We're doing chicken piccata. Here is our oven-baked risotto, and look how simple this is to finish off. We're gonna throw in a couple of tablespoons of butter. It's gonna melt right away. We have our warm cup of chicken stock left. Oh my goodness, yes, loosens that all up. I've got a splash of white wine. You can absolutely skip that if you don't like the flavor of it. Salt, pepper, and then we're gonna stir. Stir, 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 and what's gonna happen is all that's gonna work in, oh my goodness, it smells so good. Work in and loosen this up. The butter, the heat, the stock, the wine, everything is gonna become really, really yummy and tender. And then lastly, we're gonna dump in a cup of freshly shaved parm and really give it a stir. We have our sauce of our chicken stock and our fresh lemon juice and some capers with a little salt and pepper, a little bite of garlic in there that we're gonna spoon over our risotto. Oh yes, it smells so good. And our chicken. We're gonna plate this. It's gonna be so pretty. Do our risotto on the bottom. Plate our beautiful chicken. Look at this crispy, beautiful golden chicken right on top. And then ladle our wonderful tangy piccata sauce right over it. Top it with a little parsley, and it is a beautiful, easy, special meal. This is cooking today.
Cooking Today, sponsored by West Rock Coffee Company. Kitchenware is provided by Una Mays. Groceries provided by Harps, Hometown Fresh. Online Elements sponsored by Fayetteville Farmers Market.